What if you could create a whole podcast, fully produced and ready to go, not in days, but in minutes? Seriously. Imagine taking a complicated document, or even just a random idea, and turning it into a real conversation with different voices and everything. Well, that's not science fiction anymore. It's what's happening right now with AI. Okay, so here's how we're going to break this down. First up, we'll look at this new world of the one-click podcast. Then we're going to pull back the curtain and see how all this AI magic actually works. After that, we got to talk about the new rules this tech requires. And finally, we'll get into the big debate. Is this a fantastic new tool for creators, or is it a threat? You know that feeling, right? If you've ever tried to create anything, you know that fear of the blank page, just staring at that blinking cursor, wondering where to even start? Well, AI is completely changing that game. We're now at a point where making a whole podcast can be as easy as just typing out a sentence. So let's take a look at a major player here, Descript. They've pretty much boiled this whole thing down into 3 simple steps. First, you just tell the AI what you want to talk about. It spits out a draft. Simple. Step 2, you come in. You're the director now. You refine it, you tweak it, make it yours. And finally, you can record it in your own voice or, and this is the real game changer, you can assign an AI voice to read it, which can be a perfect clone of your own. And you can see the impact right here. This isn't just a fun toy. It's a massive boost to efficiency. It automates all the boring, time-sucking parts of the process, and creators are saying they can literally double their output. That frees them up to think about the big ideas, not the tedious editing. And get this, it's not just for serious, buttoned-up topics. The creative flexibility is kind of wild. You can tell the AI what kind of personality you want. So, for instance, Google's Notebook LM can take a super dense research paper and turn it into a podcast discussion between 2 pirates. I mean, come on. It just shows you that tone, style, even humor is all on the table. Okay, so you've seen what these tools can do, which is pretty mind-blowing. But how does it all actually work? What's going on behind the scenes to turn a simple line of text into a totally believable human voice, or, a pirate's voice? So the heart of all this is something called voice cloning. And this tech is getting ridiculously good. An AI model just listens to a recording of someone's voice. Sometimes it needs as little as 4 minutes of audio. And it learns everything. The person's unique rhythm, their pitch, their tone. Once it has that blueprint, it can say anything you tell it to. But here's the really cool part. It's rarely just one AI doing all the heavy lifting. A lot of these platforms use what's called a multi-agent system. Just think of it like a digital production crew. You've got a research agent digging up info, a summarizer agent pulling out the important bits, a script writer agent turning it into a conversation, and then the voice generation agent who performs it. They all work as a team. Now, if you want to get your hands on this stuff, there are basically 2 main roads you can take. On one side, you've got the polished commercial tools like Descript. They're super user-friendly, everything's in one place. On the other side, you've got the open source projects. These are for the tinkerers, the people who want to get under the hood and really customize everything. A bit more complex, but incredibly powerful. Of course, with great power comes, well, you know the rest. The ability to perfectly copy a human voice raises some really serious questions. I mean, when anyone can create a totally believable audio deepfake, how do we stop it from being misused? This new reality needs a new rulebook. And one of the first big stabs at this is the European Union's AI Act. This is a landmark law because it's not just a blanket ban or a total free-for-all. It's smart. It takes a risk-based approach, sorting different AIs into categories based on how much harm they could potentially cause. And here's how they break it down. At the very top, you have unacceptable risk. Things like government social scoring systems. Those are just banned, full stop. At the bottom, minimal risk. Things like spam filters, which are totally fine. Now, AI-generated voices and deepfakes, they fall right into the limited risk category. That means they're not banned, but they come with one very, very important string attached. And that one crucial string is transparency. That's the whole deal. The law says creators have to tell people when they're interacting with AI-generated content. A listener has the right to know if that voice they're hearing is a real person or not. It's all about making sure people aren't being deceived. And they are not messing around. These aren't just polite suggestions. The penalties for breaking these rules are massive. Fines up to 35 million euros or even 7% of a company's global revenue. That shows you just how seriously they're taking this stuff. They want real guardrails in place. Okay, so beyond all the laws and regulations, This tech forces us to ask a much bigger, more philosophical question. When a machine can write a script and perform it, what does that actually mean for human creativity? Is AI a partner in the arts, or is it a replacement? So, on one side of the argument, you've got people who are deeply skeptical. They see these tools as a shortcut to making bland, generic stuff. The fear is that instead of pushing originality, AI just makes it way too easy to pump out uninspired content, and that cheapens the real skill and hard work of human artists. But the other view is way more optimistic. And interestingly, it's a view that seems to be shared by a lot of creative professionals themselves. An IBM study from 2023 found that a whopping 70% of creatives see AI not as a threat that's going to replace them, but as a powerful collaborator, a tool that can handle the grunt work and unlock new ways for them to be creative. So what this really suggests is that maybe our whole idea of creativity is changing in real time. Maybe the value is shifting away from how something was made, the technical skill, and moving toward the human vision behind it. The art becomes about the originality of the idea, the cleverness of the prompt, and the unique way a person curates the AI's output. And that leaves us with this one giant question. As AI gets better and better at copying human style, where does the creator's true, unique contribution, their soul, actually live? Is it in the brushstroke itself, or is it in the idea for the painting? Is it the performance or the story being told? It's something that really challenges us to think about what makes art human.